What is up, YouTubians? Kudamola here, coming at you with another exciting video. And for legal reasons, I have to tell you that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so let's get into it. Recon Medical Bleed Kit, also known as I guess sort of like a trauma kit. Why did this make the best bang for the buck list? I'm going to try to explain it to you as best I can. All right, so let's talk about first aid kits. So a first aid kit is what a lot of people carry. God bless them. Thank you for carrying your first aid kit. You know, Band-Aids, ointments, that kind of stuff. What this kit is one level above that. Like, you've got some serious blood loss going on. Somebody got into an accident. I hate to say it, but active shooter situation. You know, that kind of a vibe. It's just one level up from a first aid kit. Let me give you some parameters. If you're in a situation where somebody is bleeding out, call 911. You know, solve the problem. Take leadership. If you're with a group of people, you know, communicate with your group. Hey, who knows first aid? Who can help me? Delegate. Have one person call 911 while you are rendering first aid. Find out who knows more than you. Maybe somebody else knows how to use this stuff more than you do. Hand them the bag and say, here, do your thing, and I will call 911. You know, those are just some examples. I'll give you a couple scenarios. Motorcycle ride. This happened to me about a month and a half ago. I was with a group of about 6 people. One of those riders went down. Accident happened. I'm not at liberty to say how or why or when or where, but basically accident happened. The motorcycle rider had a dislocated shoulder, really bad road rash. And it just reminded me that every time I ride now, I'm going to be carrying a kit, if not this kit, a kit that's similar to this, just for such a situation. Skateboard riders, you know, you're riding your skateboard, accident could happen. You could get hit by a car, you know, somebody's just not liking a skateboarder, active shooter situation, somebody decides to take a shot at you. You know, parents, think about your kids, you know, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just trying to share with you some knowledge, and if that knowledge helps you, great. If you're a gun owner or you decide to go to a gun range, you know, hey, I want to practice my target shooting, whatever, this might be something that you might want to consider. You know what I mean? And by the way, parents, if you are going to, you know, stick one of these into your kids' backpacks, try to get them into a class. I'm sure somewhere out there in the universe there has to be a first aid class for kids. You know, Shark Tank, $1 million idea. I could care less about getting the credit for it. I just want people to have more knowledge. You know, so just be aware of that kind of stuff. All right, so let's talk about what's in the kit. So keep in mind that a first aid kit is your boo-boos, your Band-Aids, your ointments. What this kit includes, starting with number 1, is the Recon Medical Generation 3 Tourniquet, which is this right here. It comes sealed in a package like this. What I am going to do, this is me personally, what I'm going to do is take it out of the plastic packaging and get it prepped and ready to use if I did have to use it. This one was manufactured in January of 2020. Suggested service life of 5 years. It's cool that they include a tourniquet. All right. Next item is your 7.5-inch titanium bonded shears. These are stainless steel, which then has a titanium bonding process to it. That's the shear part. And I've got my handy dandy magnet and stickage away. So as you can see, they are really stainless steel bonded with titanium. The handles themselves are like a really heavy duty plastic, like a, you know, I don't know what the exact terminology is, but they're like a good rugged plastic. Situation where you would use these. If somebody is bleeding out, you definitely want to know where the bleeding is coming from, so you may have to cut off their clothes. Motorcycle riders wear leathers. You know, you're kind of getting the idea here. If there is an active shooter situation, you're looking for an entry wound and an exit wound, you may need to cut off their clothes to determine where both of those are. Just giving you some scenarios. All right, next item is your 4-inch pressure trauma bandage, which is also known as an Israeli bandage. That's what this is right here. I want to keep this sterile because it comes sterile shipped in a sealed container. But what comes in here is basically like an ace bandage type material with a gauze pad sewn into it is basically the simplest explanation. So you apply the gauze pad on where the person is bleeding, and then wrap it around, apply pressure. Like I said, take a class, be on the phone with 911. Probably they will instruct you better on how to use this thing than anybody else. All right, next item in the kit is the Recon Medical Compressed Gauze, which is basically this. It's basically gauze that's been vacuum packed and sealed. I'm assuming, hoping that this is sterile because it has been vacuum sealed, but same type of thing. Somebody's bleeding out, you apply the gauze, basically that, and pressure. Like I said, take the class, they'll instruct you how to use that, but that comes in the kit. Then you get your waterproof carbon pen, which is here. It was actually attached to the tourniquet. The reason for the pen is so that you can write down the time that you applied the tourniquet onto the injured person. Like that way when paramedics do show up or emergency medical help shows up, they'll know that, hey, at X time during the day, you applied this thing, or night, or whatever the situation is. And then you get the emergency rescue blanket, which is here. Mine came in a green color, but it's green on one side, silver on the other. But it's basically telling you waterproof, windproof, compact, etc. Then on the back side, it'll tell you golden side out to protect against hypothermia. Like I said, mine was green. And then the silver side out to protect against heat. So it's kind of cool that they did that. All right, so that's what comes in the kit. What could I do to make this better? God forbid you're in a situation where somebody gets, they've had something pass through their chest cavity. Because a tourniquet really is designed for an arm or a leg. Well, let's say somebody has something through the chest cavity. What you could do is add a hyphen vent chest seal to the kit if you decided to buy this separately. And usually they come in packs of 2 and you want 2 of them because you've got an entry wound and an exit wound. And it lets you know. So in one side, this is the pack, but in one side of the pack, you've got your entry wound, and then the other side of the pack, you've got an exit wound if there is an exit wound. It's a peel and stick type thing. These are kind of expensive, but may help to save a life. Just saying. If you don't want to fork over the money for one of those, for a set of one of those, I should say, what you could do is duct tape. Like Gorilla Tape really is the best sticking tape that I've found. Like I said, if you find something better, post it down in the comments below. But Gorilla Tape or duct tape, what you could do is you could use the plastic from either your gauze pad, or you could use this plasticky type material from your emergency bandage. By the way, it comes with instructions on the back. How cool is that? But basically you would apply the plastic over the chest wound, use your duct tape around the edges to seal it off, use this on the back, whichever one you decide to use. But at least you know that just with one simple addition with the duct tape, you've now got 2 chest seals, one for an entry wound or an exit wound. Just a suggestion, but something you may want to consider. The last bit of info that I'm going to give you is if you wanted to consider buying this, keep in mind this is not a boo-boo kit. Hey mommy, I got a boo-boo, I cut my finger. This is designed for massive blood loss, or blood loss of any kind. Gunshot wound, impaled on something, some type of trauma where the person is bleeding out. Hopefully the person that got injured doesn't have an artery that's nicked or cut or severed, but if they do, that's what this kit is designed for. So keep that in mind. Link to the product is in the description below. I also put a link to the hyphen vent chest seal as an additional bonus if you wanted to get some abdominal pads, just more padding to put onto a wound in case they're bleeding. That's in the description below. If you don't like this bag, I did put a link in the description down below for the Orca EMT ripaway pouch. This is a trifold pouch. I'm going to be doing a separate video on that. And I'm also going to put a link to Gorilla Tape, duct tape, down in the description below if you want to see that as well. Anyways, guys, Cooter Malloy, please stay safe. Definitely worth the money. My final review, my final thoughts on this are definitely worth the money. Definitely something I'm going to be carrying with me in my car, on a motorcycle ride. If I go skateboarding, what you name it. It's something that I feel like just gives me a little bit better feeling about going out in the world with considering the status of the world right now. So there you go, guys. Scooter Malloy, please like the video, please subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you all on the next one.